Okay. All right. Okay. We're back. We're here. We are here. Yeah, it's been a bit. Okay. I think I uploaded the last one, I don't know, November. It's January 14th, 11:38 p.m. We're about to transfer into January 15th. Yeah, it's been a bit. Sorry about that. I don't know. I'm mentally unstable. So like when I say I'm going to do something with a date and like repetitively, there's no guarantee on that. And that's what this was. So now we're back. Episode 2. 2020 was a good year. That's the title of this. Not going to get into that right away. What I'm really going to get into here is I was right. There's a couple things I was right about in the last podcast. I want to address. Number one, Sheck Wes. I said he was either going to drop new music, which he did. He dropped 2 songs since the last time I did one of these, or he was going to join the NBA draft. He did both of those things. He joined the NBA draft too. Didn't get drafted. Apparently he signed to Paris, plays for Paris now. So I was right. Sorry. I had to address that, make sure everyone recognized that I guessed it and I was right and I wasn't off about that, which I wasn't. So called it. Also, Playboi Carti dropped his album, Whole Lot of Red. Insane. Oh boy. Okay, there we go. So in the first minute, I have just knocked over my Corona Seltzer. I just spilled that. I'm going to let that sit there for the remainder of this episode because I'm not going to stop recording because it already took me long enough to get started. So we're going to roll with this. So Cardi dropped his album. It was fucking fantastic. Hold on. Let me grab a towel. 1 second. Anyways, let me get that. There we go. Okay. We're good. We're good. We're rolling. This is live. We don't do retakes here. One take Drake. Let's see. Clean that up. Okay. Anyways, yeah, Cardi dropped his album. It was fucking amazing. There's a lot of people that I think you guys let social media sway your opinions a lot. And I've seen this countless times when things go on, whether it's politics, music, sports, current event, anything. A lot of people just like don't have a spine. And they don't have a backbone to them, and they don't know how to form their own opinion, and they ride on the coattails of others. And so the night Whole Lot of Red came out, a lot of people are like, oh, whole lot of misses. This album's trash. What is this? And it's like, you listen to the album, maybe 2 or 3 songs. I know you didn't give it a full listen. I know you didn't, because if you did, your mind would change. And they just didn't like it. And I mean, that's okay. For the people that did listen to it all the way through and they gave it a couple listens and they still didn't like it, that's fine. Like, if it's not your thing, that's cool. You know, like, people are going to have that opinion and that's okay. Music is subjective. It's your own personal experience. You're going to get what you get out of it, or you're going to, you're either going to stay with it or you're going to walk away from it. Just saw that in the Kurt Cobain documentary I was watching. So, that's the way it goes. That's okay. I personally thought it was amazing. Some standout tracks for me. Let me go ahead and pull it up. Number 1, Stop Breathing. Stop Breathing on there. I'm thinking of that song in the context of like when it's going to be live. Stop Breathing is going to be one of the craziest songs out. Jump Out the House is going to be insane. God, I gotta stop smoking. My lungs are tight as fuck trying to talk. Teen X is like this extreme baby voice. It's got Future on it, and it's like, it's so infectious the more you listen to it. Vamp Anthem, the fucking keys, the sample. I think he sampled Bach, someone said. Insane. Like, the beat's insane. Control. Control's a special song. Control's a very special song on there. I won't go any more on that one. On That Time, that makes you want to kill somebody. King Vamp has been my recent favorite, I would say. I've been going really hard with that song. Place is good except for the weird audio fuck up, but that was a leak. Over. I was really excited about Over. I made a funny TikTok with that one. It was just as good as I thought it would be. Not Playing is really good. Really, the whole album's good, and then Feel Like Dying at the end, very good. There's a theory that the album kind of follows him like through this transformation in a way. And it's like in the beginning, he's talking about feeling like a god and he's like unstoppable. When he feels like this, can't nobody tell him shit. And then it's like slowly throughout the album, it gets more and more serious and not sad, but like kind of dark with him talking about like being addicted to drugs, feels like dying, like his relationship falling apart with Iggy, you know, on certain songs. There's some certain love songs on there that are pretty good. And overall, I really like the album. I don't really want to go too much in depth on that. I really like it. If you haven't listened to it, I really think you should. And I think you should give it a chance. And I think you should, I know people are like, oh, if you got to listen to an album like 2 or 3 times to like it, it's probably not that good. Untrue. Things grow on you. And Whole Lotta Red is one of those albums. It's got a lot of fucking energy to it. It came out Christmas. I've been waiting, or no. Yeah, it came out Christmas, and I've been listening to it, honestly, daily since. And it's powered so many of my fucking workouts since, too. So that's been a fantastic time. But now I want to get on to the topic of the video of 2020 was a good year. Now, for some people, it wasn't. For a lot of people, I shouldn't say some, like for a lot of people, it wasn't. And I kind of want to dive into like my experience this year, my thoughts about the past year, because obviously I wanted to get this out closer to when the new year came. But I mean, I was traveling, I was home, I was busy, you know, things come up. So where do I want to begin? I was thinking I might look in my Snapchat memories and kind of base my Snap memories to kind of give me refreshers of what really happened throughout this year. So I know kicking it off right away, January 1st, I remember I went out to a New Year's thing, and it was just... Sorry, work phone went off. My New Year's... It was okay. Could have been a lot better. Had some turmoil in the friend group. Had some other things going on. And like, so I haven't still went into depth with it yet. But last year I went through like a very big mental change. Went through a lot mentally. And January 6th is when I like had my first turning point. So like January 1st, I was still pretty out of it. And I was just very like depressed and anxious and upset and like not happy. And there was a video of me January 1st on New Year's Eve, pretty much saying like I was blacked the fuck out drunk, but I was like, I'm going to go home and I'm going to hang myself. And like, I can see in my eyes that it wasn't a joke. Like I was saying those things because I fucking like meant that, which is super fucked up. And like, it just like, I was just in a dark place, man. I was in a really dark place and I didn't like it and I didn't know how to get out of it. And I pushed a lot of people away because of it. And because that was the first time I really went through some hard shit like that. And I just kind of, I didn't know how to deal with it. I was going to therapy. I was figuring out a lot of shit about myself, going through a lot of things. And I was just like, I really retracted inwards and just like I talked about before, I really lost who I was, and I wasn't me. And I wasn't me for a long time. I wasn't me until around March. March is when I found a little bit of me, which I was going to get into in a little bit. So January, I was pretty out of it. February still. Then March, COVID came and quarantine came. And for a lot of people, I didn't realize it at the time. I kind of realized it like a month or two into quarantine, but like, I think a lot of people treated quarantine as like quarantine hit and like you either shut down and you gave up on everything and you just like put your head down in your home and you were scared and you did nothing, or like you realize like, oh, this is a pause on real life. Like this is a pause to figure out a lot of things and to really kind of like get yourself back on track and realign. Because for me, like my life was going so fast up until quarantine. Like I was in school, I was partying nonstop, I was going out every weekend, I was drinking, I was doing whatever, like, and I got so caught up in all that, and then I was so stressed about like, you know, real life's hitting. Like I graduate, I need to find a job, I'm job hunting every week, I'm going through what I was going through mentally, like I'm moving out, I've got a job, I moved to Chicago. I did all these crazy things in like such a short span of time when my mind was already like fucked as it was. Ooh, excuse me. And that all culminated into like a mental breakdown, really is probably the best way to describe it. My first like nervous breakdown. And it lasted for a while. It wasn't like a one day thing. It was like I was like living in misery, you know. And that pause that came in March really. Hold on, I'm gonna hide this preview so I don't keep looking at the camera at myself. And I'm gonna try to look up here, but the camera's like up above me, so it's a little unnatural to look up, but I'll try. That pause was so good. And I know for a lot of people it wasn't. And a lot of people have like had very bad years. And I get that. And like I was fortunate enough that I didn't lose my job. My job went to full remote and I got to keep that. And I remember it was the start of quarantine. I went down to Alex's down in Peoria. Well, it was Alex and Dylan's. But Dylan, yeah. So I would just go stay with Alex. Alex and Dylan were roommates, and Dylan was nice enough to like let me come stay there. And I really appreciate that. And I don't think they realize, I still don't think they realize like how much that time meant to me and how much that time helped. So, I mean, if they watch this, I don't know if they do. They might, I don't know. But that month, and like all my friends in Peoria there, that month was like very powerful and moving for me. In many ways. I don't know how many of them I'm going to like get into, but the biggest thing was like I had been living alone in that apartment and I was just like not me. And I know like I have so many snap memories of like me being down with my friends in Peoria and at Bloomington where I like was me and I was like doing my own thing, like not my own thing, but like I was like me mentally before like my mental break and all this shit, you know? And like I had such a good time there and I had so many good friends there. And by no means did that mean I wanted to go live there because I knew for work and career and like my own personal growth, I wasn't going to stay down south. Funny I say that now because we went much farther south and we're in Texas, but you know, things change. But so I was there and it was like that quarantine hit and Alex and I was down there visiting for the weekend to like go out. We would go out to this place called Saddle Up all the time. We were always there, like every weekend. Any weekend I went there, we went to Saddle Up. Like that was the place to go there. And there's a place called Corey's, which is really fun too. But we went to Saddle Up, did our thing, and then it was like Sunday, right before I was about to go home, like national lockdown went into full effect. And that was like, it was weird, but I wasn't really like, I don't know, like I wasn't scared or, you know, it was weird because it was like my parents had never been through it. I'd never been through it, but I was just like, I mean, I'm young and I'm just like, whatever, like, fuck it. You know, it's coronavirus, whatever, like whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Like I can't control it, but I saw it as like, oh, and then my work was like, you don't have to come in for 2 weeks. And I looked at Alex and I'm like, should I stay? Should I go? And he's like, you could stay if you want. And then me and him just like locked in and it was like we were roommates. I was there, I was doing my thing, and our friends' parents always have people over on Fridays down there. Shout out Cody. So we would go to Cody's parents' house, and then we just get like fucked up on Friday nights and hang out. And like I was there for like 3-4 weeks in a row, and it was just like I was around like all my friends again. I was around like Cody's family, and they're like very accepting. Like I consider them like my family too, honestly. Like I have known them like a short time, but the way they treated me, you know, and accepted me, and that meant a lot. And it was like something I really needed that I didn't know I needed during that time. And I was just like with all my friends. Obviously it was a pandemic. Like we shouldn't have been out like at his mom's house, but like it's the Southern Illinois, like people don't care, you know, like very conservative. Like it was just like whatever the fuck's gonna happen is gonna happen. Like we're gonna drink and do whatever. And then Alex and I were just playing games like all fucking day. He had work off too for a little bit. And it was just like, we'd go to Casey's, get coffees. We'd play Escape from Tarkov all day. And we'd just be screaming at each other, like in a good way. And just like having a blast, getting fucked up, skating a little bit. I think we had the skateboards out in March. I don't know. Can't remember how nice it was. We might have. But yeah, then I was there for like almost a month, you know, and I left and I was just like, and I was kind of in a frenzy when I left because I was like, holy shit, like I really liked that, you know, like being around everybody. And I thought maybe like I wanted to move there, but I didn't. I was just very caught up in the moment and I was caught up with like how that made me feel and how much fun I was having. And I don't regret one bit of it. Everything happened the way it was supposed to happen that month and like I loved it. So I had a really good time there and that just like that was the first time that I could look in a picture of myself again or a video and see like that spark in my eyes that had been gone for a very long time. Like you can tell when someone's like there or they're not there. And I'm not talking like blacked out drunk or not. I'm talking like if you're mentally there and happy and excited, or like you're just kind of like faking it. And I'm very good at faking. Like I can put on an act better than anyone I know. So yeah, I was like me again. Like I found me. Like I found, you know, I always say like I'm Matthew fucking Garrett. It was like I found the building, the first foundation of like bringing like Matthew Garrett back to reality, right? And like pulling myself out of that fucking slump was because I was there for so long and I was around everybody. And then what happened after March? Then I went back home for a bit and then talked to my parents, and I was like, I wasn't going to stay at my apartment because like none of my friends had moved to Chicago yet. And like, I didn't really know anybody in Chicago yet. Like I knew a couple people, but not like my close friends. So it was like, I had to pay rent still, which sucked, but I just like, I didn't want to be alone in the city of Chicago. I was already like sick of being alone in that apartment. And then like having it be a pandemic where I couldn't go out and do anything or like see anybody. I was like, okay, I'm just going to bring like my computer and all my shit back to my mom and dad's house. And I'm going to chill there for a while just because then like I get free groceries. I don't got to worry about any like wasting money. Like the only thing I was wasting money on was rent. And so that was fine. I didn't care. I was, you know, you sign a lease, you're stuck in it. Like I'm not going to go fucking rail off about a landlord. Like that's the way life works is you sign a lease. Like you sign an agreement and you have to pay it regardless of what the fuck happens. I know most people are like, oh, we got to cancel everything and get our money. It's like, no, it doesn't work like that. It'd be nice if it did, but it just doesn't. Like it's a business. Everything's a business and no one fucking cares about you. So like you need to realize that. That's a little tangent. That's a little tangent too with like the people that, if we want to talk about that, like politics, like no politician will ever give a fuck about you. Realize that and stop putting all your time into worrying about it because they don't care. They care about money. Everything is about money to anyone that's in a higher up position. And if you don't think that, you're a fucking idiot. But back to the story. So March hit, we did that. I went back home and then really from March until, yeah, okay, here, I'm looking at my snap memories now and all of them are just me in Peoria. Yeah, like here's March. I'm in Peoria. The last night we went to settle up was March 15th and then quarantine hit and then we're at Cody's parents and I'm home for a little bit. And then back in Dylan and Alex's living room, I had my beard. I had this beard going on, which was ridiculous. Yeah, here's this video. I made this basketball video acting like I was on JV. There's Cody's dogs. Then, oh yeah, it was fucking April when I finally bought my first gun. And I got my Glock. And then we went shooting at our friend's house down there who had like a farm. So like it didn't matter what we did. And then I was back in Chicago in April too at one point. And then, yeah, here's April 29th, I was at my apartment in Chicago. Then May 3rd, boom, I'm instantly back in Peoria with all the guns again, and we're shooting. And then it was a UFC. Oh, yeah, May was the UFC fight when Alex and I watched I think it was it Tony Ferguson, Justin Gaethje? Yeah, I think so. I was back with my parents. Then I bought an AK-47 assault rifle at the end of May. Got that, went down there, shot that. Great time. Then we go into June. In June, I had a mustache going. I was still at my mom's house, and then I'm back in Peoria. And this is when Alex broke his arm while we were skating. And then we had, Dylan and Taylor's baby shower was in June. I remember that. Holy shit, man. This is a lot. I'm sorry. I know you guys can't like see this, but like this is helping me piece together what happened this year. Because really from March until... Yes, March until July, it was a fever dream. Yeah, because in the end of the July, March until July was like a fever dream. It all blended into like one long month. Then we're doing our thing, and then Saddle Up. What bar is this? In June, oh my God, yeah, in June I met up with Jordan and all those guys, and I was able to go out to a bar again. I see this video of me beer bonging. I'm just fucked up, shotgunning a seltzer in a pool of alcohol, um, saying life is hell. Yep, I remember that. And yeah, but like I was saying life was hell, but really underlying things were good. June 26th, we went to Saddle Up for the last time, and then it came out that it was racist. Then we didn't go back there. Then I was back in Chicago for the month of July. Alex came to visit in July. Yeah, Alex came to visit for a week, and that was such a good time. It was like, again, it just kind of reiterated that, like, hey, man, we should fucking live together and we should, like, stick through this. And, like, but he didn't want to live in Chicago. I would have loved if Alex could have came to Chicago. He didn't want to. And I didn't want to go to Peoria. But, I mean, we got into that. I don't need to deep dive into all that. Yeah, that night, I remember that week Alex was up there. We'd go to Lake Michigan. We'd get beyond fucked up. We went on my roof because there was a ladder you could sneak to get up onto my roof, and we would just drink all night on the roof, and we'd throw shit off of it and scream. And there was one time we were on that fucking roof, and you could see into people's apartments, right? And so I told Alex, I was like, watching into this apartment. This poor girl, this girl's like in her living room, like doing homework or some shit. And I went above her apartment, and I'm just stomping above. And I stomped like 5 times. And finally on the 5th one, I just hear Alex let out like a howl. And I run back over there. I'm like, what? He's like, dude, she wasn't moving. And all of a sudden on your last stomp, she just sprinted out of the fucking room. Like she got so scared. And I think of that girl, and she's probably, she probably is like, what the fuck? God, yeah. So then, yeah, that brings us through July. And then Alex left. He went back home. Then I was going through some things personally that I'm not going to comment on further on that, but I was going through something that ended around that time. And that was, you know, it was what it was. Everything happened as it was supposed to, as I said earlier. Everything has happened exactly like it was supposed to, which I don't regret one bit. Then, yeah, I see here I move into August. August is my birthday month. We had a plan. We went to the Ozarks in August. Me, Alex, Cody, Abby, Amber, Alex's girlfriend came with, and we all went to Lake of the Ozarks for a week. And that was, okay. I think it was in July when Alex and I, had a talk one night, and I was really like feeling like me. July, boom, I snapped in. Like March, I like activated, and then I built from March till July, and then July, I just fucking had my trigger, and I, boom, like snapped back into me. And I was like, okay, I'm back. And now it's time to like, it's time to get fucking going, and let's figure out what we want to do here. Because I still didn't have to go into work. Alex could do whatever he wanted. Whatever he wanted within the realms of finding another job. And I asked him, I remember one night we were driving around. I don't want to say like that, but like we had been drinking, but like not to the point of like, or maybe it was just me that was drinking, or it was him. I don't know. One of us was driving, one of us wasn't. And like we weren't drunk, but like we were feeling ourselves. Like we were in our feels a little bit. Not sad. I guess, yeah, we were sad. We were kind of sad, and we were just like talking about a lot of life things. And I was just like, dude, we should move somewhere. Oh, no. Oh, my God. Yeah. I said that at one point, but then I remember, oh, yeah, because I laid it out to him like this the week before this happened. I said to him, I was like, dude, listen. I was like, I know we want to live together. I was like, but I don't want to come down here. I was like, I've thought about it thoroughly, and like, I don't see myself living here. Not that like our friends aren't here and everything, but like, I just don't see myself long-term staying here just because like I need more to do. Like I need city. Like I like Chicago as it was a city, but I need like a little more than this, a little less than the city and more of the city. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. Like I just needed something. I need things to keep me busy. I'm a very like active-minded person, and I need like stimulation. I can't live in like I grew up in a corn town. I don't need to go move to another one, right? Not that Peoria is a corn town. Well, it is a corn town. Besides like Saddle Up, it's like there's nothing to do. Obviously go hang out with your friends and everything. But this is where I also said this. I was like, all our friends are going in very different directions than us. A couple of them want to move away. A couple of mine had moved away already. And then others were like starting families, which we've talked about before, which is fantastic. They should do that. And it's been awesome to see, like, my friends have their kids and like have kids on the way. Like, I don't want that, but like, it's beautiful and I'm happy they have it. Right. So like, I like being on the outside and seeing how happy it makes them. And, it's very fun to see that as like I love them as friends, and to see them happy like that means the world to me. But I told him, I was like, things are going to change real quick here. And like, even when life reopens, the dynamic we had with the friend group is going to be different. Like, everyone's kind of going into different stages, and we're still at this point of like, we could go get fucked up. We could do whatever. Alex was pursuing a relationship at that time, and he's in it still. So like, I don't mean it like it stopped, but like, he was looking for that. And I was just looking for a new start, and to just not even a new start. I needed somewhere to go to rebuild. Like, I had got myself back mentally. Now I needed to like get physically in tune, mentally in tune fully. And to do that, I needed to kind of remove myself from everything I was comfortable with. And I needed to put myself in an uncomfortable situation, because like, an uncomfortable situation will make you grow, and it will force you to make a change, or else you keel over and just kind of sit there. Like I said, with quarantine, like, I think there's a lot of people that got fucking rich during quarantine. Like, I've seen so many people online, like, blow up with their different things they were pursuing. Not personal friends. Like, I really don't know anybody personally that's done it, but for example, like Tim Dillon exploded, Andrew Schultz exploded. Like, a lot of people were able to take quarantine and build something out of it. All the people on OnlyFans, for God's sake, like, so much money was made. And I don't want to say I wish I could have did something like that. I had thoughts of it. Like, I was like, oh, like, I could really zone in on streaming or podcasting or YouTubing, but I mentally wasn't there. So for me, my utilizing quarantine was like just taking the time to find me again and create me and build me and like focus on myself. And that was what I did. And like, I'm happy I didn't waste that time, because I could have just fucking, like most people, like, balled up in a shell, been afraid to do anything, been afraid of like just the world, and just was like, oh, woe is me. Like, the clubs are closed. I can't go out. Like, I'm not supposed to go see my friends. I just have to sit here in sadness and do nothing. Like, no one told you have to do nothing. You can do a fuck ton of things from inside your house. Like, keep yourself busy. Don't just shut down because like the world shut down. You can still do shit. You can still do anything you want with this fucking phone or a computer or a camera. Like, if you want to do that, obviously. But like, I don't know. I just think the people that looked at quarantine as like a bad thing weren't looking at it the right way. You need to find a way to take any situation and turn it into a positive for you. And that might sound selfish, but that's really what life is like, you have to follow you. You have to create for you. You have to provide for you. You have to make you happy. You can't like just wait for everything else. Like, it doesn't fucking work like that. It's like, at the end of you're going to get let down living like that. You need to, fucking be you. Do what you want to do. Don't like sit around and wait for things to happen. Like, go make them happen. And that was why, like, even like sitting down to fucking record this, like, I've been thinking about it like for weeks. Like, I need to sit and do it. And then like, I'll make an excuse. I need to sit and do it, and I'll make an excuse. And then finally tonight I was like, all right, I just need to fucking sit in front of this and do it. Cause it's like, I know the second I get going, it's fine. And I feel great. And like, when I press upload on this, like, I'm going to feel very, rewarded and like happy about that. But for some reason, my biggest hurdle is like just sitting down to do it. And I don't know why. And I'm working on getting to the bottom of that. But anyways, that was a little sidetrack. Where was I? I think we were right around Ozarks. Yep. And then going into Ozarks, Alex was searching for a job. Didn't tell anybody, only I knew. Didn't mention any of our friends where he wanted to get that job and where we wanted to go. That was all hidden from everybody because we wanted it to be a surprise. But we had set on the idea of Texas. And then, like we talked about in the previous episodes, like, I go down there on my birthday. He's like, you still want to go? Yeah, I want to go. We move. Boom. So let's fast forward because everyone knows that story. We got down here in September. And then I just fucking locked in. Like, I found the gym that I wanted to go to, set all that up. I've been working, doing my thing with that. Works great. I was skating for a while, but then I I pulled back from skating because I was like, okay, I can tell there's some imbalances since I've had like, you know, kind of a half and half year with the gym of recovering with my back. I need to correct some things before I can like be healthy enough to like fully skate. Cause I would skate and be sore for like 4 or 5 days. And it was like, because my core wasn't where it needed to be. My lower back wasn't where it needed to be. And it's like skating really uses emphasis on those two parts. And it's like, I didn't have those. So I cut the skating out, probably right before my last podcast back in September, October. Yeah. Around there, I cut skating out. And I kept going. I've been to the gym like 6 days a week since. And I was drinking a bit here and there, but like not really heavily because there wasn't like there's places to go out. I met some people down here and I've been having fun with that. Yeah, November must have been the last podcast I made. No, it wasn't November. Oh, and I'm gonna pull it up real quick. Why not? When did I upload that fucking that podcast? My Mind is a River, episode 1 got put up. Oh, November 18th. Look at that. Okay, it was right before I went home for Thanksgiving. Yeah, so I went home for Thanksgiving. That was fun. Saw my family, did my thing with that. Oh yeah, met up with my home friends, did Blackout Wednesday. And then, and then we had Drew and Madison's wedding. We went to that. That was amazing. We went to the bachelor party. Yeah, Alex was home for that. I was home for that. We did all that for the week. Went to the wedding. It was super fun. Flew back, and then again, just locked back in, kept going to the gym, doing work. Wasn't really doing anything YouTube. I was streaming here and there, but I was more of like I said before, like I had to leave for a week in October. Then I had to leave for, I had to leave for 10 days in October. Then I had to leave for 10 days in November. Then December, I only left for 7. And I was like, okay, this is the last time I'm going home. Not forever, but like, I'm not picking up my life into a fucking duffel bag for 7 to 10 days a month when I have like a full apartment. Like I'd have 3 weeks to get into a routine, and then I have to throw that routine out the window because I had to leave. And then I had to try to get into a routine at home, and then I got to try and come all the way back. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. This is unrealistic. Like, yeah, I need to see my family and everything. That's great. But like, I need to fucking exist, and be alone and do my thing. And so now that I'm back, I set up a live streaming schedule. I've been live streaming games on Twitch Monday to Friday at 5 p.m. Central every day. I usually go live about 4 p.m. though. It just depends what time I get done with work. I do that. I go to the gym on lunch. I eat my same meals every day. I'm on my meal plan. I'm not tracking macros. I'm just tracking by mind and memory. Doing that. I actually did a big thing. I was going to do a whole episode about this, but I don't really need to do a whole episode. I'll just incorporate it into this. For the month of December, I went out on like just a fucking bender of a week. That week I was home for Thanksgiving. And then I flew back, and November 29th was the first day I went 30 days sober from alcohol. I smoked weed 3 times during that month, so not a big deal. Because I usually never smoked weed. Oh, I went on a hunting trip too. Oh my God. Let me touch on that. Hold on, before I get into 30 days sober. Or no, this happened during 30 days sober, so I'll talk about it then. So yeah, I did 30 days no alcohol, and it was something I talked about doing. I can't commit to like an upload schedule, but it was one thing where I didn't think I had a problem with alcohol. I still don't think I have a problem with alcohol. I black out a lot because I'll drink myself to a blackout, but I'll never be like, how do I want to say it? I decided I needed the break because I realized since my freshman year of college, which was 2015, I had not gone more than a week or 2 without getting severely drunk. So, because it was like every week I drank 2 or 3 times a week, up to 5 times a week even. It just depended what was going on, like who wanted to go out. So it's like 5 years of just like drinking every single week, multiple times. And I was like, you know what? Let me see if I can take a break. Like, I just want to check, I wanted to prove to myself that like, hey, like you don't need this. You can still go out and do things without it and kind of do your thing and just give yourself a rest for 30 days. See how it affects you mentally. I did it with caffeine too. Caffeine lasted about 3 weeks, and then I slowly went back into caffeine. But yeah, I decided November 29th was the first day. I was going to do it till December 29th because I had plans for New Year's and I wanted to drink on New Year's and have a better New Year's than last year, which I did, which was nice. But yeah, so I did the 30 days sober, and it was just like, it was something where like, you know, you tell yourself you want to do something and you want to follow through with it. Because at any point I could have just like given up on it and be like, yeah, fuck this. Like, I just want to get fucked up. Because there was a night I did go and sit at a bar with my friends at home, and like everyone's like, why don't you drink? Why don't you drink? And I'm like, man, like I told myself I'm going to do it. Like I need to do it. I know it's, you know, it's dumb. Like I don't need to do it, but like I need to prove to myself that I have that discipline that I can. Like if I set out to do something, I'm going to fucking do it. And that's how I've always been. And that was like a little mental thing with me. Like I just needed to fight that little inner battle and, you know, reactivate that discipline too. Not that I don't have discipline with other things, but just like that commitment type discipline of like an extended period of time. And it was really good. It was really beneficial. I don't want to say I noticed a huge change in like mentally. I think I remembered, my memory was better during those 30 days. Like I could recall like a bunch of different shit that usually like would be a little bit foggy, which was different. That was nice because usually my memory's kind of shoddy. But yeah, what else happened there at 30 days? I had a little more energy, I guess. Cause I wasn't like, like 1 or 2 days out of the week, I wasn't hungover. So it was like I had a full 7 days every week to do whatever the fuck I wanted. But honestly, it didn't help with like me being tired or anything like that. Like I could sleep 8 hours a night and still be fucking exhausted. So that hasn't changed. And even stopping the caffeine didn't change that. Like people say when you stop caffeine for like a week or two, you're supposed to be super tired, then you're full of energy. I did it like 3-4 weeks. I felt the same as I would without the caffeine or with the caffeine. I was just as tired without caffeine as I was with it. Now that I'm back to caffeine, I can feel it affect me again. So that tolerance break was nice. I drank New Year's after not drinking for 30 days, and I thought I'd get super fucked up. I didn't. My tolerance was still like okay. Like I got fucked up, but like I thought I'd get fucked up way quicker, but I didn't. I think I browned out a little bit, but I just had like a great time. I was with some really good people on New Year's, and I had fun. And yeah, and then I noticed actually one thing that I've noticed is different since I started drinking again. My hangovers are so much better. I used to get extremely bad hangover anxiety. Like I would be like, you know, my hands would feel numb. My body would feel tingly and nasty the next day, and I'd feel so like paranoid and anxious. And now that's just been completely gone since I started drinking again. I can't complain about that. It feels like my hangovers feel like they did when I started drinking freshman year. And those were the hangovers where like I could wake up, go to the gym, go grocery shop, do whatever I needed to do. And like it didn't affect my day. And that's how it's been since I took that break. I don't know why. Curious to see how long that lasts. If it's like permanent, not, I don't know. But it's been cool. So yeah, the 30 days sober challenge was really cool. I would do it again, maybe if I feel the need, like I need to reset again, like, yeah, I'll just do it again. I really liked it. I recommend everyone should do it. Especially if you think you might have an issue or anything, try it out and just make sure you can go 30 days clean. If not for like, you know, think you have a problem, just to see how it affects you, like see how your energy is, see how your mental stability is, see how your happiness is, you know, your anger, see how your moods are. Like, do you fluctuate more or less when you're not drinking? How's your energy? I liked it. I think it was really beneficial, and I'm happy I did it. Also during that month of December, I went on this fucking hunting trip, which was awesome. So like I have these friends. I met my friend Randy when I was in 8th grade going into freshman year. Randy lives in Arkansas. I met him via like an Xbox forum, like an Xbox hacking and modding forum, which was funny as fuck. And then we started playing this game called DayZ together. Knew Randy I've talked to Randy almost daily since then. And I met Randy a couple times. He came up to Illinois to visit me back when I was in high school. He's my age, you know, and we stayed together and we had a good time. And then I've seen him a couple times since. I play games with him all the time. But while we played DayZ, we met these friends, Gage and Chris. And we've known Gage and Chris just as long as I've known Randy, pretty much, maybe a couple months less. And I never met them, but they live in Texas. And I moved down here, and Gage was like, he hit me up, and he's like, hey, man. He's like, we're going on this hunting trip. Like, I got this ranch I go to. We go hunt wild hogs on it and shit. You come stay. And I'm like, He's like, bring your guns and everything. And I'm like, I've never met him, but I'm like, all right. I know he's a little bit older than me. And like, I remember I told some friends, I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to like go off in the woods. There's no service, he said, where they're at. And like, I'm going to bring my guns and we're just going to kind of go do our thing. And like, we're going to smoke, get high and like do whatever. And like, everyone was like, are you fucking psychotic? Like, why would you do that? Like, you're going to get killed. And I'm like, no, I'll be fine. Like, I've known this guy for fucking 8-9 years. You know what I mean? And even if he did try to do something like, okay, I have a gun too. Like, I don't really whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Everything happens for a reason, right? If something bad went down, so be it. But it was like a fucking fever dream. Like, it was so fun. We were out in the woods for like 3 days, hiking around in Texas and just like trying to hunt these wild hogs, never found any. But we were smoking every day and I don't smoke, but I was so at peace this time when I smoked. And it was like this weird thing that like I hadn't had in like since I started smoking as like a younger kid. And it was like something about being out in the outdoors and just like, it was so crazy because we're walking around with like AR-15s and AK-47s, like just patrolling this 50-acre lot, like in the woods. It sounds so insane when you think about it. And we were like out at night with flashlights on our guns and like fucking looking around for these hogs and trying to bait them and look for them. And dude, it was such a good time. Like, I can see why people go hunting and do that shit. Like, I would do that anytime again. I didn't get the chance to shoot at an animal. I don't really know what that'll be like if I ever get that chance. I'll do it, but like whatever happens, happens, right? So that'll be fucking cool if I go do that again, which we're planning on it. So I will go do that again. But that trip was awesome, man. Like, they won't ever see this, but like, that was such a good fucking time. I had so much fun with them. And it's like, it's so cool to like, I don't know how many people like have internet friends that like they haven't met, but it's like, it's a weird thing when like I've known this guy for like 8-9 years, both of them. And it's like, when I pulled up next to him at the gun store, I like rolled down my window. I was just like, Gage. And then he's like, yeah, what's up? And I'm just like, it was like I had my headphones on because I've only ever heard his voice. And then I just like look at, I was like, holy shit, dude. And then we get out of the car, we hug and we're all excited and shit. And I'm like, this is so crazy. Like 8-9 years I've known you just through voice. And now I'm like here with you in fucking person. It's like a weird, life is just so weird. And the connections you can have are so insane. And it's always very mind blowing to me. And I really like it. So that was just like a cool fucking thing that like that happened in December. That was just like such a cool thing to end the year with. And I just like, it's like bad to say like 2020 was a good year because it was not for a lot of people, but it's like I remember I was just like sitting there one night kind of reflecting on everything that I've kind of talked about today. And I'm like, I really can't say it's a bad year. Like compared to like 2019 compared to 2020, 2019 was just like this hellscape of mental torture. And then like 2020 was just the year I just like crawled fucking out of this darkness and just found me, got back on track of what I wanted to do and accomplish and just like, being happy with myself again and being, proud and confident and just carrying myself the way I know I do carry myself and I should be. And it was just so good to get that back. And I think all those different experiences I went through all contributed to that. And it was just like, there was some bad moments too in 2020. Like I went through some bad things in 2020 that I don't mean to not talk about, but like, I'm just not something I'm going to talk about on here. Just some more personal things, but it's like those helped me grow, and I've had a lot of time to reflect on, a couple different things that happened in 2020 where I'm like, okay, like this is where like I needed to grow from that. And I went through a lot of therapy in 2022. I went to therapy quite a bit. Shout out to my therapist, Stephanie. I was able to process a lot. If you guys haven't gone to therapy, I highly recommend it. I still want to do one of these episodes at some point where I sit and I talk about my mental health experience and what I've went through to get out of it, and not get out of it, but what I've went through to like understand it and grow from it and learn from it and continue to work on it. Like it's a daily thing. When you realize something's going on, you gotta, fix yourself to make yourself better. And, Yeah, man. It was a good fucking year. It was such a good year. I had so much fun. Like I had such good I made so many good memories this year. I found me, figured my shit out, stayed locked in, or I stayed not like I just stayed focused. Like I knew the goal, I knew where I wanted to get to kind of. Yeah, I knew where I wanted to get to mentally. I just knew like I always knew there was a light at the end of the tunnel even when I couldn't see it. And I knew like even on my worst days I was like this is just like this is hell, but like this is what I got to fucking deal with if I want to get back to where I want to get to. You know, like if I want to keep going further and further, then yeah, I'm going to like I have to go through this hell and I have to, you know, this is my test. This is exactly, I keep saying it, but it's like everything happens for a reason because you need to learn from things and grow from things and figure things out. And that's exactly what fucking happened. And I went at it head on and it worked. And I'm like fucking shaking. I stayed like very hidden about it. I didn't talk about it much except a very select few close people besides my therapist. And a lot of unseen bad times that like I don't like go run and, you know, post about everything in my life. I was like on Snapchat, I'll post like my nights out and shit, but I don't go like, you know, dish out my personal goings of like, oh, I had a fucking awful night. Like I did whatever that night, like by myself, just in misery, you know, like I just dealt with my shit and I kept it together. Damn, I'm already at 46 minutes, huh? 46 minutes to recap a whole year of my life. Crazy. But as you can see, I'm drinking some sauce right now. Corona Seltzer, as always, waiting for the cacti to come out. Then I'll switch my sponsorship deal to cacti. That's Travis's drink. Try to think, man. If there's anything else I want to touch on this year, I think that really covers it. I really got to piss, so I might have to wrap this up here. But, yeah, I'm glad I sat down and did this. It's weird when I sit down and I do something like this, I don't think I have that much to say. And then I sit here and I look at the time and I'm like, oh, I just rattled on for 47 minutes. And I talked about a lot of shit and I almost like black out during it. Because it's just like once I turn it on to talk, it just pours out and out and out. And these thoughts just keep coming. It's like I said, it's like a river. These thoughts come and I pick them out and I spit them out. Come, pick them out, spit them out. And just repetitive. And just go into all these different avenues. And it's like, I don't know. It just feels good to let everything out and talk. It's nice. I love talking. So, yeah, that was my 2020. I think if you sat around and did nothing and you're okay with that, that's great. But I think, 2021, we're here. The vaccine's here. And that's, life's supposed to be back to normal on January 1st once you get the vaccine, right? Yet everything's still fucking shut down. So if you were waiting for January 1st for everything to magically get better, it doesn't. Stop waiting for things to be okay. Yeah, if I could wrap this up, I would say stop waiting for everything to be okay and just start doing what you want to do within whatever rule set is in place for your state, of course. Like, obviously, if you want to just be at the bars every weekend, they're closed. Well, I mean, have house parties, do something like that. Even like if that's really what you want to do, that's going to make you mentally happy, then, and you're vaccinated or you're not vaccinated or you've had it, you haven't had it, whatever the fuck, do what you need to do to be happy. If you want to pursue a goal. Don't think like, oh, COVID's here, I can't get a job. You get a job. People are still fucking like, if you have a degree and things like that, and you're like working in a big field, like people are hiring. I know medical field's hiring, like, there's still ways to get jobs. There's still ways to pursue things online. Like the internet isn't dead. You can open up a camera every day. I see a couple of people I know that like start to do YouTube channels and podcasts and shit. And I love to see it, man. Like, cause anybody can do this shit. Like this is, as long as you can figure out how to work a camera, work a recording program, uploading. And if you can brand yourself and everything, go for it, man. Like how these people started is just by doing some random shit. I've always said it's like when you're trying to make content, it's like throwing shit at a wall and seeing what sticks. I take a shit and I'm like, oh, here's my podcast, throw it at the wall. If it sticks, then I keep doing it. If it doesn't stick, I try something a little bit different, throw it at the wall, see if it sticks. So yeah, just fucking don't waste time. Don't, like, I see a lot of people are like, oh, my 20s are wasted. Like, then don't let it be wasted. Do something productive during this time. Even if it's just reading a bunch of fucking books, like self-improvement and skills, like learn a skill, learn a hobby, do something. Don't just sit and mope around, because you're going to look back on it and be like, wow, I wasted this year or two of my life. And you're going to try to blame it on Corona. But then you're going to meet people that didn't sit around and waste their time. You're going to realize like, oh, that was like valuable years of my youth that like I did nothing. Because this Corona thing, it probably, I mean, who knows how much longer it's going to keep going and how much restrictions are going to keep going. Like no one really fucking knows. So it's like, don't sit around and wait for the world to open up. Open your own world up and start doing your own shit. And I'm going to leave it there. That's Imagine Being Matthew Garrett, episode 2. 2020 was a good fucking year. And if it was a bad year for you, make 2021 better. Be happy. Pursue something. Get a goal in mind and just fucking go after it.